Find other great podcasts like this one at podmoth.network.
Hi, I'm Molly.
And I'm Abigail.
We're sisters.
And we believe in ghosts.
Welcome to Supernatural Sisters, a podcast all about ghostly encounters, bone-chilling monsters, and basically anything that goes bump in the night. Each week, we talk about a haunted place, a legendary monster, or a story that sends shivers down our spines. And maybe we'll talk about the pottery scene from Ghost.
He's not a ghost in that scene. There are other parts of that movie where he's a ghost.
Subscribe wherever you get podcasts.
And remember, we believe you.
Hey, what's up, you guys? I'm Kathryn.
And I'm Hayley.
And we are Saturdays for the Ghouls,
a Podmoth podcast.
I'm so glad we're here together again, as always.
Yep. As we gather here today in the weekly meeting of the Ghouls, marriage. Marriage is
what brings us together today. So, Ghouls and Ghouls. Today is Kathryn bringing you a movie.
Woo!
And from the title, I think you know what movie it is.
Y'all ready to die hard?
You ready to die hard?
Yes.
It's everyone's favorite Christmas movie. Don't get me. All of you people who think it's not. Everyone's favorite Christmas movie, Die Hard from 1988.
Grinch stole it. Who? Like what?
Now, everyone who just like had a panic attack while they were in their car listening to our podcast or whatever it was, when I said it was the greatest Christmas movie, you know what? I see you and I hear you.
No, she doesn't.
You know what? Actually, I do. And I think we're going to find out later in the little episode of exactly how I see and hear you. So we also, if you aren't able to stick around till the end, we want to wish you guys a very Merry Christmas and a whatever else you celebrate. Happy whatever.
Happy Merry whatever the fuck.
Happy Merry whatever the fuck, as we like to say in this part of town. But this episode will go out on Christmas Eve. So if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. And if you
there
don't,
you
happy have a day.
Happy have a day.
Have a day. Have a treat on me. I'll Venmo you guys $2 to go get a Dr. Pepper from McDonald's. Do you guys just want to get right into it? And when I say you guys, Hayley, do you hop right into it?
I'm ready to die hard, baby.
Die hard.
Only way to go out.
You know what they always say? Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yippee-ki-yay.
Hayley, I want to give you your 5 minutes. It's not going to be 5 minutes, though. Please don't make it 5 minutes. To give me a Hayley synopsis, the short version.
I was going to say, Hayley synopsises are god-awfully long and annoying.
Hayley synopsises are like almost the whole episode.
You're like, don't worry about watching the movie. I'll just tell it to you, start scene by scene.
Right. Now, first of all, before we get into the movie, if you haven't seen Die Hard, go see Die Hard. It's been out for over 20 years. If you wanted to watch it, you would have watched it by now. So
it came out in 1988, so
you had all the time in the world to go see Die Hard. So, Hayley, go for it.
Sad man on plane. Big ass teddy bear. That's it. That's all he brought with him.
Nothing else.
Toe curl.
You guys are gonna have to piece together these words.
Toe curl anxiety shows up at wife ? Work. Big industry. I don't know what it's for, but they make lots of money. Wife ? Works there. There's some office party happening, right? All of a sudden, German men come in. And they decide to take over the building and yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. Bang, bang. They all die. Sweaty Bruce Willis. That's also barefoot. The entire fucking movie. Kills everybody. Death. Autoerotic asphyxiation. Death.
Not that.
Death. R.I.P. Alan Rickman. Yeah.
So now that you know everything that's happening in
Sorry.
Die Hard, I don't need to tell you anything.
Sorry. Bing, bang, boom, fire. Or this is Kathryn's version, okay? Sad, divorced family, office party, terrorist. Boom, boom, bang, bang, death, fire, sweaty feet, bloody feet, fall to death.
You know
Happy
what?
Christmas! Merry Christmas!
You know what? That's probably not far off of what I would have said, and that sounds darn near poetic.
I've been listening to a lot of Kathryn synopsises.
Yeah, so that's pretty on par.
Woo!
So now that you guys know everything, you have a great night and Merry Christmas. The synopsis that Haley gave you, there was missing a lot of like the key internal words of the sentence to help you know what the hell she's saying. So let me give you a little bit of a better synopsis.
I'll go fuck myself then. It's fine.
So no, you're fine. That was perfect. It's basically everything I give you, so it's just desserts for me. So I take notes during the movie because I've got big goldfish brain, and if you could see these notes, I don't think I could even tell you what happened during the movie with these notes. I also got so enthralled in the movie, I stopped. Halfway through the movie, I stopped taking notes. So we meet John McClane on an airplane. Right?
Right. I said, yes, right. Sorry, I forget they can't see me shaking my head.
I was like, it's an audio performance. Okay. So we meet John McClane. He's a New York cop. Takes no shit. John McClane. There we go. He meets this guy on the airplane, and this guy says, "You know how I do after I get off of an airplane? Wherever I go, I take all my shoes and socks off, and I just grip the floor with my toes. Helps ground me. Helps me feel like it's not as bad, blah, blah." Now, I completely glossed over that fact when it happened in the movies. I was like, why are they even saying that? We find out later. So anyway, John McClane gets off of the airplane. He meets his driver, Argyle. Oh, Argyle's my favorite character in this movie. Anyway, Argyle is his driver, and he takes him first to the holiday party where his wife is in her place of business. They're like in this weird, like, kind of separated, kind of still married.
Complicated.
Right. It's complicated. But we meet a bunch of, I wrote here, dumb suits. Like her coworkers and stuff. And we meet her boss, who's the president of the company. And her coked up coworker.
Ellis.
Yeah, his name's Ellis. I was hoping that you knew his name because I did not get that one.
He's a piece of shit.
So he sees his wife, blah, blah. She still loves him. He still loves her, but there's definitely some tension there. So she has to go give a speech, and he's kind of freshening up in the restroom, the private bathroom of her office, which means she's a head honcho. She's type of the line. I bet you.
We love an independent woman.
She's a strong, independent woman, and she don't need no John McClane. She's probably the vice president.
Yeah, I think she is. Well,
because the president is her boss, so she would be the vice president, I guess. Anyway, so he's, washing off the airplane from himself. He's in his nice wife beater and his pants that go up to his like rib cage. And while she's going and giving his speech, he takes his shoes and socks off, and he starts gripping the floor and seeing if that guy had any truth to what he was saying. And then shots fired. Shots are heard around the world, or at least in this tower here. So now John McClane, in a wife beater and no shoes, no socks, must now come up with a plan. His plan did not include putting his shoes on, which really would have helped him, to be honest.
Yeah.
Helped him quite a bit. And so the shots fired are from these Germans who have come in and are trying to steal something that we don't know yet from the company. So they take hostage the president and says that he wants the $6 million that's hidden in the vault, and asks the president to give him the code. And the guy's like, even if I give you the code, you're not going to get in. And he goes, do you want to test that theory? If I'm not going to get in, just tell it to me. And he doesn't tell him, and he gets shot in the head, which, mind you, it's a very, very, like, gruesome death. That's a lot of blood.
Fast. It's very fast.
It's very fast, though, yeah. It's not long drawn out, but it's still pretty gruesome.
He was like, well, I guess she was like, you're just going to have to kill me. And, like, didn't even finish the sentence. He's like...
Hans Gruber takes no seconds to think. Not one. John was on the phone when they cut the power to the building with Argyle, but he gets disconnected prior to that. So he's hoping now that Argyle's called the police. Argyle has definitely not called the police. Argyle has done fucking nothing. He's in the back seat with the teddy bear drinking and listening to music. So,
he's like, you know this number, you'll call it. If he needs it, he knows it.
Yes.
He's living his best life. He's
truly living his best life. So then John says, you know what? I'm going to pull the fire alarm so that the emergency vehicles come and, we can get things going. So he pulls the alarm, and the Germans have already intercepted like the signals and stuff. So the security guard, the guy who's pretending to be a security guard, but he's already killed the security guard. Anyway, the security guard calls them and says, yeah, we have an emergency, and then calls them and says, never mind, from like their head honchos. I don't know. It was weird, but they turned around and left. Then John runs into his first German lackey. And this is where John McClane gets his first machine gun.
Mm-hmm. He's like, now I have a machine gun.
And so the German lackey gives him a run for his money, but obviously John McClane wins.
Looks like Jeffrey Dahmer.
He also, yes, he did look like Jeffrey Dahmer. At least he looked like the Evan Peters version of Jeffrey Dahmer. Yeah. And then he did try to steal this guy's shoes, but he said that his feet were smaller than his sister's, so he couldn't fit their shoes. So he sent the guy down the elevator with a message on his shirt that said, now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho. So then John McClane gets in contact with the police via a radio that the guy had on him. And the police are like, there's nothing happening there. We already tried to send someone, but they were like, it wasn't a thing. This is against the law to use this line, blah, blah. And he's like, just send the fucking police. What is wrong with you? Anyway, so long story short, they send good old Carl Winslow. Now, I know his name's not Carl Winslow, but he plays Carl Winslow, who's also a cop. So his name's Al in the movie, though. And his real name is Reginald Vell Johnson, though. But he plays Al in the movie. And he goes and he's like, looks fine to me. The building looks fine to me. There's nothing wrong here. And so John McClane runs into two more wacky German guys, and he wins again. So Al, the cop, he comes and he's like, looks fine to me. I'm going to go in and check, though. So he goes in. The fake security guards at the desk like, hey, just so you know, we're good here. We don't need any help. He's like, is it okay if I look around? And he's like, yeah, sure. Well, anyway, he's like, looks fine to me. He like takes like 5 steps in, kind of looks around, then starts leaving. Doesn't take a very hard look inside. But anyway, John McClane sends him a message via body from the sky down to his car. And so he is now very aware that something's wrong. So he's calling in the cavalry, and the cavalry arrives. And that's where I stopped taking notes. So the rest of it's off the top of my dome. Okay, so John McClane is still inside, and he's talking to Al, who's the only person he trusts out there. Do you want to know why? Because the other guy who's there, who's a cop, is the principal from the Breakfast Club. And he's in the exact same costume and the exact same character, basically, as the Breakfast Club.
Mm-hmm.
So he's like just like this dumbass asshole cop who doesn't want to listen to John McClane. Granted, they don't know he's a cop, except for Al kind of has a feeling he is because of how he talks. They're trying to like sneak up to the building. And they definitely don't do it. But do you want to know who sees what's happening right now? Finally, Argyle sees that something's going on. Argyle, our driver, who's been drinking and having conversation with a teddy bear in the back seat, figures out, oh, there's a ton of cops here. So he drives into the parking garage, and he kind of like hangs out there for a while. And so they do a lot of tactics that just make people get hurt. And the Germans get angry and, make other people get hurt, like other cops get hurt. And then the FBI comes. The Federal Bureaus of Investigation. The feds, as they like to call it. And John McClane and all the other cops don't like the feds. And they're both named Johnson. So the Johnsons are here. And they're like, we got this. Don't fucking worry. You guys are dumb as shit. And we got this. And they're like, I don't know, just like super cocky for absolutely no reason. Mm-hmm. So they prep for like a helicopter landing on the top of the tower. John McClane is still fucking inside fighting bad guys. Just left and right, he's trying to live. And he, at one point, gets into a big match with the guy whose brother he killed, the very first guy. That was his brother. And so he gets in a big match with him. He ends up having to walk along broken glass with his bare feet. And that's where we come to the point where he's pulling glass out of his foot. And he's like, hey, Al, could you just tell my wife I'm sorry? And he says like the sweetest things about his wife. And oh my gosh, I was losing it. I've read way too many romance novels for that to have not been like a major plot point.
At this point, I think me and Kathryn were just like, damn, Bruce was kind of hot though.
Yeah, I know. He was like saying these like super nice things. He was like, I don't say sorry almost ever. And so she really deserves me to say sorry. She's the most beautiful woman I've ever met. Blah, 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 blah. And we were like, wow, Bruce Willis is looking mighty fine. And like before this, like a few days before, we were like talking about Die Hard and stuff. And I was like, I don't think I've ever thought Bruce Willis was hot, like, I mean, like none of his movies have I ever been like, oh, damn. And I've seen Die Hard before.
Yeah.
Nothing. But that scene just hit different yesterday. And he's like not sure he's going to make it because obviously he has blood spurting out of his feet. And it's like one man against all the other Germans there. Fast forward, Ellis was like, you know what? I fucking got this. And he takes a bump of coke and he just goes in there. He's like, me and John McClane have been good friends for a long time. I can tell him to stop and knock it off. Blah, blah, blah. And John McClane's like, don't tell them that you know me. He's talking to them on the radio in front of him. He's like, that's so stupid. And he's like, John, just like calm down, like do whatever. And Ellis straight up dies.
Mm-hmm.
He gets himself killed because he's too cocky and too coked out for the well-being of himself. So then they find out that John McClane and Holly are married and they have 2 kids. So John McClane finds out that there's the whole roof is set to detonate. And all of the Germans are bringing them up to the roof because they've gotten into the vault now and they're taking all the money. So they're sending all the people up to the roof because when they go up to the roof, they're saying, oh, you'll get freed by the helicopters. But what's going to happen is it's going to detonate and everyone on the roof is going to die. So he tries to tell Al, and the cop guy's like, shut the fuck up, John McClane. You don't know what you're talking about. And obviously not in that many words. So he went up there. He was looking for his wife. He was like, where's Holly? Where's Holly? Where's Holly? And her assistant was like, oh, they took her. And so he had to go find Holly. And so Holly was with the bad guys while they were trying to steal the money. And Holly was like, you guys are nothing but petty thieves. And John McClane devises a plan first. He's a thinker, if anything, at first. He devises a plan and he goes, I'm going to get this done. So he comes up and he has a gun in his hand, and Hans is like, drop the gun or I'll shoot her, because he runs into him. There's only 2 more Germans left. He's killed everyone else. Or is there? Anyway, so he there's just 2 more guys, Hans and the guy that's helping getting the bag of stuff. Anyway, John McClane has 2 bullets. 2 bullets, everyone. So here we are. He throws his gun down. He's like, don't shoot her. Throws his gun down. And then, in a pure blaze of glory, Hans gets distracted and he rips the gun off of his back and goes, bow, bow, and shoots the 2 guys in front of him.
Bow, bow.
Bow, bow. And then there's this boxcar that they came in, and out of the boxcar comes an ambulance. And what they're going to do is drive away in the ambulance because it's not going to look suspicious. So Argyle is in the limo and he sees this ambulance come out of the box truck, and he like rams into the car, and he takes care of that German, Argyle. Mm-hmm. And then everyone comes out and everyone is safe and sound. But then that one last German that he like strung up by his neck, he came down and
asphyxiation.
That's not what that is. I hope you.
Autoerotic asphyxiation.
No, he was just strangled and hung.
It could have.
It's not part of the story. Stop saying that. Okay.
Fine.
So he comes after John and he's like, I'm going to get you. And all you see is a gun go pow, pow and knock him dead. And guess who it is? You already know, Hayley, but don't tell me. It's
your mom.
Al. It's Al, the guy he's been talking to on the radio, and he's very first seen in real life. Al has not shot his gun since he accidentally killed someone on the line of duty. So that was a really big deal for Al, and he saved John McClane, and everyone's happy. So that's Die Hard. In case you were wondering, you've now seen Die Hard.
You've now seen it.
Hayley,
yes.
I bet you're thirsty for some fun facts, aren't you?
I'm parched.
Dehydrated even. Okay.
Give me the fun facts.
Hayley,
Kathryn,
if you had to guess, what is the body count of Die Hard?
What is the body count?
Yeah. How many people died?
I'll go with 15.
You are very close. 18.
Damn it. 18.
18 people died. Now, that is nothing compared to the 164 body count that's racked up in Die Hard 2.
What the fuck?
Yeah. Die Hard 2 straight up went ham on the death. I thought that was an interesting comparison. So, according to the most reliable source on the internet, IMDb, this role, John McClane, has always been Bruce Willis's favorite role. Now, you're going to be like, that's just words on the internet. I sent him a message on Instagram and I double checked to make sure. Bruce Willis, is this your favorite role? And he blocked me. So I don't know, but I'm assuming so.
I was going to say, if you pull this out of your ass that Bruce Willis fucking responded to you.
You know, it's just a bit. The world may never know. Anyway,
Is Kathryn really blocked by Bruce Willis, or is she just...
let's play the game, am I blocked or not? After this episode, I will be. Okay. Our next fun fact. Nakatomi Plaza is the headquarters of 20th Century Studios. The studio used its own building so that they didn't have to spend a lot of money on like finding a place to film it, and they could spend way more money on stunts and action. And
that was a smart idea.
That's why this movie is such a good movie action wise, is that they got to spend all of their budget money of like location, and they got to put that into their stunts and action.
That's really smart.
That's very smart. Bruce Willis had 17 undershirts in the costume department in various stages of degradation for whatever scene he was filming at whatever time. 17. 17 different
it's like we got
undershirts.
It's like we got the clean white wife beater.
Yeah.
We got the kind of sweaty wife beater. We got the partial like gun wound wife beater. We got the bloody
blood wife beater.
We got the tore up wife beater wrapped around your feet.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So in 2007, Bruce Willis donated John McClane's undershirt to the Smithsonian Museum too. So
number 16 of like 17.
I don't know which one he donated, but he did donate at least one.
He's like, I guess you guys can have one while I have all the other ones.
Yeah. So the majority of the scenes between Alan Rickman and Bruce Willis in this movie were unrehearsed and sometimes even ad-libbed, so that it would create more of a spontaneous feeling between them in the movie. And I thought that worked rather well.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, at the end of the movie when Hans is holding Holly hostage and Bruce comes up and says, "Hi, honey."
Yeah.
That line was completely improvised and was not actually expected when in that scene. So that was
okay. Everyone's
like, why is he talking? Now, let's talk about Alan Rickman, the late Alan Rickman. Alan Rickman, this is his debut role as an actor.
It is?
Yes. Alan Rickman actually almost passed up the role because he had only been in Hollywood for 2 days prior to landing this role.
What the fuck?
Yeah, and he was concerned that he was gonna, by playing a villain in this movie, he would have to be a villain for the rest of his film career.
I mean, he kind of was.
Exactly. It was a very valid concern to have, because he has been typecasted as a villain for most of his career.
It's the voice.
It is. He also, I felt like his German accent was not very German.
Mm-mm.
And then Carl Winslow, or Reginald Vell Johnson, our cop outside, he and Bruce Willis never met until that scene where they meet at the end of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
And I love when movies do that. You know, like in Scream, Roger L. Jackson, no one had ever met him. So prior to the filming, so it was just a creepy voice on the phone, which helped them. And this one, they bonded over the radio, truly, even in the movie. Crazy.
Oh, I really do love this scene when they finally meet for the first time, and you just see like it was like two best friends. Like it reminded me of like when that like long distance either friendship or couple they meet for the first time.
Yes.
It was so cute.
I know. And it was like, it's like their soulmate best friends. And they would have never met otherwise, because he's a California cop and Bruce Willis was a New York cop. And
if I'm not mistaken, I think they bring him back for one of the sequels when they're in New York. I think.
Nice. Now, I have a segment of just facts about Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker.
Yes.
Because if that is not
the most iconic
phrase from this movie, Yippee-ki-yay, motherfucker. So that phrase was in 4 other Die Hard movies. Die Hard 2 in 1990, Die Hard with a Vengeance in 1995, Live Free, Die Hard in 2007. Although a gunshot kind of blurs the end of the line, but in the unrated version, you can clearly hear it says motherfucker. And then A Good Day to Die Hard in 2013. They all had Yippee-ki-yay motherfucker.
Yeah, that's his signature.
Yeah. In Urdu, spoken in South Asia. The line is translated to, "Here, eat this." Which I think
Here,
is
eat
funny.
this, motherfucker.
Yeah. And that line on the 100 greatest movie lines in 2007 by Premiere Magazine. And it ranked 96 on the top 100.
Oh, I wonder what number one is.
So number 100, which would have been the very last one, was I See Dead People by Haley Joel Osment.
What?
Also a Bruce Willis movie, though.
Also, yes, that's true.
That's pretty crazy. And our number one line from 2007 was, "Here's looking at you, kid," from Casablanca in 1942.
Boo.
The number two is "Frankly, I Don't Give a Damn" by Rhett Butler and Gone with the Wind. Boo. Okay. Number three is "Rosebud" by from Citizen Kane. And number four is "I'm King of the World" from Titanic. There we go.
Yeah.
That's a good one.
Okay. I'm fine with that one.
We'll leave it on a good note. I'm King of the World's number 4. All right. Now we're here. We know all about Die Hard now. We have gone back and forth and we have watched the movie. I very intently watched this movie yesterday, looking for clues of why this movie is the best Christmas movie of all time. Okay. So if you follow us on Instagram or Facebook, we put a poll saying, do you think that Die Hard is a Christmas movie? So the ranking for Instagram was 100% yes. Everyone on Instagram who voted yes.
Crazy.
Now, on Facebook's where it gets crazy. Which, honestly, I feel like people on Facebook just want to make arguments. And so I understand.
They just want chaos.
They just want chaos, right? So 68% said that yes, it was. 16% said no. And another 16, the last 16, said never seen it.
That's crazy.
So we did get a few people that was like, no, absolutely not. Die Hard's not a Christmas movie. So you want to know what? I want you guys to feel seen and heard. Okay? I looked up reasons why people think that the movie is not a Christmas movie. Straight up not. Okay? Because the movie was not released during the holiday season, it cannot be a Christmas movie. That is simply false. Just kidding. But I mean, I think that I didn't look into every Christmas movie, but I think that there are Christmas movies that are not released on Christmas or near Christmas.
Mm-hmm.
And there are non-Christmas movies that are released around Christmas. Because some families go to the movies on Christmas and they don't all want to see a Christmas film. So that is a weak argument, if anything. If you can't tell, Haley and I are both on it is a Christmas movie side, but I am going to give you guys a little bit of lip here. So the next reason why is that Die Hard does not move anywhere beyond action, and it doesn't have any Christmas themes or storylines. And I would argue that again, because simply at its base, if you don't watch the movie and you just go by like what the synopsis is about, John McClane just wants to spend Christmas with his family. And he needs to complete the night here to be able to successfully spend Christmas with his family. Does that sound like another Christmas movie to you?
Yes.
Yes, it does. It sounds like Home Alone.
Mm-hmm.
Home Alone is universally known as a Christmas movie. But you could argue that Home Alone is exactly the same movie as Die Hard, but only if John McClane was a kid. And the Germans were just some hobos, right? Like,
Yeah, they were the hobos.
really
Oh my
down.
God, this is like Home Alone.
It's exactly like Home Alone. Kevin McAllister is coming up with
It's John
ways to
McClane.
yeah, he's John McClane and all over the place.
McAllister, McClane.
Exactly.
Oh,
Here's the thing. I'm just saying. It's exactly like Home Alone. If you think Home Alone's a Christmas movie, Die Hard's a Christmas movie. And I would say that you ask anyone if Home Alone's a Christmas movie, it's yes.
Mm-hmm.
But I would argue if you think that Die Hard's not, that maybe Home Alone's not, and it's just set during Christmas time. And maybe Home Alone 2 is the Christmas movie because that one's more centered around Christmas, if you think about it. And then Home Alone 3, not Christmas at all.
Mm-mm.
Not a little bit even. So, just so you guys are wondering, that's why Die Hard is a Christmas movie. And if you guys needed a smidge more proof, I wrote down every Christmas mention in this movie while we were watching it.
Ooh.
In the beginning, when Holly is talking to her assistant, she says something along the lines of, "You're going to turn me into Scrooge." Okay? Ebenezer Scrooge, Night Before Christmas, whatever.
Mm-hmm.
In the car on the way to the plaza, John McClane asks to play Christmas music in the car because it's Christmas time. Obviously, Holly is having an office Christmas party. There's Christmas as well. Now, we're getting to the juicy ones. When John McClane takes the machine gun and sends his little buddy down the elevator as a message, right?
Mm-hmm.
It says, "Now I have a machine gun. Ho, ho, ho."
Who says ho, 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 Kathryn?
Who says ho, ho, ho? Santa Claus. Argyle, if you listen to the music he's blasting in the car, is Run DMC's Christmas in Hollis. That's Christmas music that he's listening to. In the when Al is getting the Twinkies for his wife at the gas station, the cop, he's singing "Let It Snow, Let It Snow, Let It Snow." The guy who's hacking into the vault cited his own version of "'Twas the Night Before Christmas" and "All Through the House." I don't remember his exactly to the words, but he did say his own version of that little tale. We see on the walls, as John McClane's walking through the building, that there's an unfinished graffiti that says "Merry Christ," which obviously would have been Merry Christmas if someone didn't get interrupted.
Mm-hmm. Rude.
John McClane, when he hides his secondary gun, he hides it on his back with Christmas tape that has like "Wish You Merry Christmas" and little hollies. At the end of the movie, he wishes Argyle a Merry Christmas. And the last song that sings us out to the credits is again, "Let It Snow."
Let it snow,
Let it snow, let it snow. So, those are all the references that I personally found in my own heart when I watched the movie. Lastly, 20th Century Fox formally admitted that Die Hard from 1988 was a Christmas movie, stating that it was the greatest Christmas story ever told on the trailer for the 30th anniversary release of the film. So it's right there. If you don't want to take all of my hobnob suggestions, it's right there. Plain in black and white. 20th Century Fox, who made the movie, says it's a Christmas movie.
They said it.
They said it.
And if you look up Christmas movies in Google, Die Hard comes up.
Yeah, it does. For sure. And Google's obviously never wrong.
Right.
For sure. So I just wanted to touch base with you guys. One last little tidbit before we hop on to the end of this podcast, that there are other movies that are non-traditional that are also Christmas movies. And my first one is Edward Scissorhands.
Woo!
This is in the beginning, the story is all about this old woman telling a story of how it always snows on Christmas. And so that in and of itself makes it a Christmas movie. She tells the tale of Edward and how he's, stuck in the tower, and he meets the Avon lady and comes home with them. And during the last like the last half, they're preparing for a Christmas party. Edward runs into those unfortunate lies through the neighborhood about him. And then there's the most famous scene from Edward Scissorhands where they're decorating and it's snowing and it's falling from the sky. It's all in slow-mo. And him and Kim go outside and he makes an ice angel for her with his little scissor hands. And it's just the most picture perfect winter scene. And if
Nothing
that doesn't
bad
scream
happens
Christmas
at
to you,
all.
if that doesn't
Nothing
scream
bad.
nothing bad happens ever. So it's a Christmas movie for the for the people who like Tim Burton. It's a Christmas movie.
Nightmare Before Christmas, baby.
Yeah. My next one on this list, and some argue that it's a superior Christmas movie to Die Hard, and it's Lethal Weapon.
I've never seen that movie.
Lethal Weapon is also set during Christmas time, and it's a buddy cop movie. And people argue that it has more feel-goods Christmas times than Die Hard does. I personally also haven't seen it, so either
Damn it.
I think I have seen it, but it's been a long time. But I don't really know. But the next movie I totally have seen. And I've seen it and I've listened to the soundtrack endless. The next movie that is arguably a Christmas movie, I would say this one's kind of a stretch, but it's The Bourne Identity. And the whole Bourne series is not Christmas, but the first movie from the Bourne Identity series is set at Christmas time.
I've never seen those either.
Those ones are good. From what I remember, I've seen them multiple times, and I think that those ones are quite good. It's about a man who wakes up and realizes he doesn't remember anything. He has complete amnesia. And so he does have a lot of like hi-ya skills somehow.
Yeah.
And they're all like muscle memory. So he's trying to figure out who he is and why he's got the hi-ya skills, but he has no idea what he used them for. The whole movie kind of mostly takes place during like a ambiguous winter time, but towards the end he's in this like lodge where there's lots of Christmas decorations, and it's obviously that's the time that the holidays would have been taking place as well. There are much less mentions of Christmas though than there is in Die Hard. And then my last one that is arguably, I'm going to say arguably one more time, arguably a Christmas movie, because I need you guys to sit with me for a second as I talk about it. And you've seen it, Hayley. I've seen it. We've all seen it. If you're a millennial, you've seen it. And I don't want you to say no when I say it right now, okay? Mean Girls is a Christmas movie. Now, let me level with you. I also think it's kind of a stretch.
It's a little bit of a stretch, yes.
Because only a small portion of this movie is technically during the Christmas time. But
yes,
majority, a lot, not the majority probably, but a lot of the film's standout moments happen during that holiday period of Christmas time. Damien handing out candy canes, calling people ho-ho-hos. 4 for you, Glen Coco. You go, Glen Coco. And the Plastics, obviously, their performance of Jingle Bell Rock and their little mini vinyl skirts. But that's kind of where the Christmas festivities lie. I would argue it's probably not really a Christmas movie. If you like boil down to it, it's definitely not. But I thought it was funny to like see the thought process of like why people thought it was a Christmas movie. But I don't technically agree with Mean Girls for sure. I'd say Die Hard for sure is a Christmas movie. I'd say Lethal Weapon for sure is a Christmas movie, and Edward Scissorhands for sure is a Christmas movie. Other than that, all the other ones are kind of like hearsay.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree.
But I just was looking at like other like non-conventional Christmas movies of like what people think are non-conventional Christmas movies. But just thinking of the fact that these are just a few of what people say are non-conventional Christmas movies, Die Hard is way more of a Christmas movie than those ones. Like if you watch Die Hard and then think about these movies, for the most part, Born Identity, The Mean Girls, like those ones are kind of like long shots.
Mm-hmm.
I think that Die Hard is like one of the most easy ones to convince someone. And I know that you really wish there was more, but that is Die Hard. Truly, what are your final thoughts on Die Hard?
I think it's a good movie all around, and yes, I agree that you can definitely watch it during the Christmas season and not feel guilty about not watching a Christmas movie because it is a Christmas movie.
Yes, and just in case you're wondering, you never have to feel guilty about not watching a Christmas movie during Christmas time. If you want to watch whatever you want, you can watch whatever you want during the Christmas season. Mm-hmm. That is completely up to you, and ain't nobody can judge you. I mean, they can, but you just got to stand your ground. Hayley, what do you rate Die Hard out of 10? Hard to take out the nostalgia factor of Die Hard.
Yeah. I'll give it like a 6.5.
6.5. I was going to say I gave it a 7.
I was thinking 7, but then I was like, that's a little high.
It's a little high. Yeah. Somewhere between, 6.5, 7 is fine. I think that it's a really good movie, especially for when it was made.
From the 80s?
Mm-hmm. It was made in the late 80s, so we're coming up on the 90s, but they made a really good decision being able to use all of their money on stunt money instead of location money. So that was really good. Well, anything else you want to tell the Spooky Biz before we leave? I don't know if you got the chance to give them well wishes for the holiday.
Thanks for joining us today, guys. Thank you, Kathryn.
You're welcome.
For bringing us that Die Hard. Making us die hard laughing. You know.
I was like doing research and I was just laughing because it was like, I thought it was funny. Anyway.
But thank you, Spooky Babes, for joining us today.
Well, Spooky Babes, we thoroughly appreciate you and appreciate that you joined us today. And we hope that you had a good holiday, whatever you celebrate. And if you celebrate Christmas, Merry Christmas. The world is a better place with you in it. And I know that the holiday time can be really lonely for some people. And that if you are feeling alone right now, we are always around. It's really easy to feel bad and lonely right now. So just know that we are your biggest fans. And if you ever need anyone, our DMs are always open. And it's almost the new year, babies. Spooky Babes. So we will see you
in your nightmares.
Jingle bells, jingle
bells, jingle all the way.
Bye, guys.
La, 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 la.